Topic 1. The 100th day of the Iran war is being tracked for its market and economic impacts. The conflict has reached day 100 and remains a persistent source of global market and real economy anxiety, with intermittent strikes and fragile ceasefires amid stalled negotiations between the U.S., Israel, and Iran. Equity markets initially plunged but have largely recovered on U.S. large-cap tech and AI winners. S&P 500 has hit record highs, while European and energy importing markets lag. Bond yields and volatility are up, with U.S. 30-year yields climbing toward pre-financial crisis levels. Oil has surged, Brent 36%, WTI plus 50% versus pre-war, keeping inflationary pressure alive. U.S. April CPI annualized 3.8%, highest in about 3 years. Supply-side relief, SPR releases, sanction waivers, China demand drop, alternate routes, higher U.S. exports tempers extremes, but prolonged conflict risks stagflation. Slower growth, sticky inflation, higher rates. Aviation and airport infrastructure damage adds structural risks to transport networks. Topic 2. Pressure on the aviation sector from high fuel costs and geopolitics. Middle East tensions and Horn of Oman, Strait of Hormuz disruptions push jet fuel and rerouting costs sharply higher, squeezing airline cost structures and prompting some carriers to delay or defer aircraft purchases. IATA's Willie Walsh warns fuel shocks could force bankruptcies and industry consolidation this year and next, with low-cost carriers especially vulnerable. Airlines are raising fares where possible, cutting unprofitable routes, negotiating with suppliers, but fare increases risk demand erosion. Examples: Air New Zealand has hedged only 20 to 40% of its fuel shock and plans on an assumption of roughly $150 per barrel through fiscal 2027 without extra liquidity. Manufacturers face order delays and supply chain bottlenecks that worsen operating pressures, while Middle Eastern hubs see short-term traffic hits but likely retain long-term strategic importance. Topic 3. Prolonged chip shortages driving NVIDIA-SK cooperation and sticky electronics inflation. NVIDIA and SK, notably SK Hynix, announced planned cooperation, with leadership noting global memory shortages will last for years, as shortages span wafers, packaging, and silicon photonics and push firms toward strategic partnerships. At the same time, a shutdown at Saudi Jubail petrochemical facilities disrupted high-purity resin supplies for PCBs, driving PCB price jumps up to 40% in March-April, and threatening visible consumer electronics price rises by autumn for smartphones, laptops, consoles, and AI servers. High-end PCB resins have no easy substitutes, complicating redesigns and verification. Manufacturers may absorb costs, cut promotions, or push higher-priced models, but lower-margin devices will feel shortages and price pressure first. Topic 4. Investors focused on big events and growth themes: World Cup, AI, SpaceX IPO, and consumer IPO M&A stories. The North American World Cup, June 11 to July 19, 48 teams, is expected to boost games, tourism, and consumer spending, benefiting staples, retail, and hospitality. Sports betting and prediction markets draw attention. AI remains a central growth theme, though semiconductor guidance shocks, e.g. Broadcom, create volatility. Tech events like London Tech Week and IPO rumors amplify sentiment. SpaceX's large IPO slated for Friday, initial pricing $135, implied market cap $1.7 trillion, is a major market event and S&P listing debate. In consumer goods, DTC to omnichannel consolidator Mammoth Brands, 2024 revenue $835 member edge, EBITDA at 100 member, 5-year CAGR 20%, is expanding via acquisitions and eyeing an IPO possibly in H2, drawing investor focus alongside private market redemption and gate issues discussed at Super Return. Topic 5. Major beauty companies pivot toward longevity, framing for products and services. Since 2026, leading beauty firms are repositioning offerings as part of long-term skin health and life extension strategies, promoting cell-level benefits. Examples include Lancome's Absolute Longevity MD, Mitochond,